Okay everyone, so this is going to be the tutorial on how to do the shading shapes assignment. First thing that you're going to do is create a line so that we can make sure that our shapes are sitting on something. So I tend to use the pencil, so I'm just going to create a line there. It doesn't really matter what color the line is, so I'm using ochre, but that's okay. I'm going to switch over now to creating the shape itself. So I want to make sure that this is all on one layer. So then I create a shape, and when you use this, the shape appears in the center. Okay, so putting this down, oh, I should do that again. Okay, so putting this down, and there's one circle, and then I'm going to do it again and create a different circle. Now, they don't have to be exact. I want them to be somewhat sitting on the line. Take off the shape, and then you're going to erase the line going through it. Okay, so just like the drawing assignments that we've done, we're going to shade this, and we're going to shade it based on some of the stuff that we're actually already aware of, such as light source, shadow, cast shadow. If you don't know what that stuff is, then check out the drawing tutorials that we have. You should have learned that already. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to make sure that this layer is reordered so that it sits on the top. I want to make sure that these lines stay present. Now, our very first shape is going to be done in black and white. So I'm going to select one of my brush tools. It doesn't matter which. Make sure that my color is on black, which it is. And then I'm going to start by putting in the cast shadow. Okay, so that is the darkest shadow area. Now, the next thing I'm doing is I've got this great grayscale. I'm going to use it. And so I'm going to select a gray that I'm going to use as a mid-tone. And I'm going to put that in. Then I'm going to select an even lighter gray that's getting closer to the highlight, and then I'm just going to leave the highlight white. Okay, and remember, when you have a sphere, you always want to use that kind of circular motion because we don't want to lose the shape of the sphere itself. Okay, we want to always maintain that the sphere has that circular shape. When that is done, I'm going to tidy it up just a little bit. There you go. Then I'm going to get my smudging tool. Now I've got 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to use this one, which is my favorite. You of course can pick your favorites. So the goal here is, remember, if you start at the white, you can expand it outwards, but if you start at the gray, you're going to bring it in. So you want to make sure that everything spreads out, and you want to smudge it and blend it. Okay, you want to make sure that this looks like the sphere is, the colors are not super distinct. We want to look like the background is blending up. Okay. And I'm still using that kind of circular motion as I'm doing this to help me blend a little bit. And making sure that there are no sharp lines. Now, once I get here, you'll notice that I've started to lose some of the darker colors, although the lighter ones, the blending is pretty good, I would say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put back in my darker colors. I'm going over the lines a bit too, but please remember that I'm going to clean this up before it's done. So this is me smoothing it out, making sure it is nice and smooth before I put my darks back in. Okay, now I'm going to put my dark back in. I'm just going to use this. And the whole idea is you just keep going back and forth until all the blending is where you want it. put my highlight back in by using the eraser tool. And then I'm going to smooth it out. Then once everything is finished, what I'm going to do is we're trying to avoid those really strong lines. And then after that, I'm going to take my eraser tool and I'm going to go around the edge and clean it, okay? We want to get rid of all the stuff that is going over the edges. All right, and then that is how you do it. And so the same thing with the color. We're going to look at the color. I just choose a color, any one, it doesn't matter. Take my brush tool, put my color down. Then I'm going to take the second color, put it down as well. And then the top part right here is going to be the highlight, and I'm just going to leave that white. Then brush tool again, doesn't matter which one, so I'm going to use this. Okay, and you're going to smudge. Okay, and then as you go, of course, you just keep adding those colors back in. And then as you add those colors back in, you smudge again. And it's mostly just repeating that process over and over until you get the desired effect. You have to get what you want. And just like the last time, the very, very last part of all of this is to clean it up and erase it. So you just get your trusty eraser. There you go. So that's how you do it. That's how you essentially create the shaded shapes. And the idea is that this is an exercise that is to help us with blending. It helps us kind of get a handle on it, helps us start doing it. And we want to keep doing it because we want to understand how these colors work together and how we can make them work for us when we're drawing.